Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm a pretty big fan of the Team Kirby Slash spin-off series. Though they're often overlooked, the two Kirby Clash games are hiding a lot of little details in their settings, even if it isn't much. The gameplay is really fun, though, especially with other players. What do you think of the Kirby Clash games, Don? Anyways, and today...
It's Halcondra.
What?
The Dream Kingdom was on Halcondra before the planet's destruction.
I was going to get to that after I introduced the game.
No, the Clash gameplay is mid. It's mid. It's garbage. Hi, I'm Don, and today we're discussing a theory that answers so many strange details within the Kirby Clash games and Magolor Epilogue that it practically makes me sick to my stomach. This is the Dream Condra theory, which, as stated before, is about how the Dream Kingdom featured in the Kirby Clash games was actually a location on Halcondra prior to the downfall of the planet due to the Master Crown, aka Mistletoe. Now it, alongside most of Halcondra, rests at the bottom of another dimension.
Yeah, pretty much. So first off, let's establish two pretty important things. First one being the setting of Magolor Epilogue. In the side mode, Magolor explores what appears to be the remains of Halcondra. We can tell based on the gear-like structures, familiar buildings in the area called Locandra Dimension. All pretty clear allusions to the planet. The other thing we need to establish is that the Kirby Clash games take place in the past of their world. Thankfully, this is directly stated at the start of both Clash games.
Now there's something I want you to keep in mind while we talk about the various parts of this theory. At the end of Magolor Epilogue, Magolor faces off against the Master Crown in some sort of flashback to Halcondra's destruction. Following its defeat, the space is returned to its original appearance. However, out of nowhere, a portal appears, leading directly to the Dream Kingdom. Just remember that while we talk about this.
Since we know much more about Halcondra than we do the Dream Kingdom, we should list out what we know about the planet to see what can also be applied to the kingdom. We know that Halcondra was home to the Ancients, houses the Master Crown, is eventually destroyed.
And holy smokes, by some miracle, the Dream Kingdom actually fits all three of these. Allow us to explain. As you can tell by the thumbnail, Landia and its titular crown are featured in the Kirby Clash games. While it's certainly possible that Landia is a parallel counterpart like other characters in the game, I have a hard time believing that when it can be seen wearing the Master Crown, an incredibly important artifact created by the Ancients.
And that means the Ancients likely have been to the Dream Kingdom's world.
We can go even further than that. One of the many bosses faced in Clash is the Greater Doomer, who is stated to have arrived due to the strange energy of the world. We know that Doomers are focused on getting access to energy spheres and other ancient technology, and yet we don't see them appear around Popstar until the Lore Star Cutter arrives and leaves behind their most desired snacks. They are naturally inclined to travel to the Dream Kingdom despite us never seeing evidence of the lore itself or much other tech. The only other place like this is Halcondra, which has so much darkness around it that Doomers nest near it. This is pretty good evidence that the Ancients are actively near the Dream Kingdom during the events of the Clash games.
We've got all that covered, but what about the Dream Kingdom's destruction? That seems pretty hard to prove. Unless you look closely at one area in the game, the decisive battlefield. A smoldering arena surrounded by the remains of the Dream Kingdom's castle town is a smoking gun for this whole theory. Just like Magolor Epilogue's ruins, the battlefield's ruins are in another dimension. We can tell by the presence of parallel bosses, who are paradoxical beings formed within another dimension. On top of that, an alternate version of the stage features these strange meteors that appear in another dimension. But how can the ruins be present in another dimension when the Dream Kingdom is perfectly fine?
The answer is simple. As we said before, the Clash games are in the past. Furthermore, another dimension is stated to exist beyond the bounds of the space-time continuum. As such, Stay with me here. If the Dream Kingdom was ever destroyed and ended up there, its ruins would be a permanent fixture throughout all of time. And you will not believe who the first boss you fight in Decisive Battlefield is. It is none other than our main culprit for being the same character between the two locations, Landia EX. They even modified Landia EX's Master Crown and returned to Dreamland Deluxe to look like the version from its Clash appearance. It couldn't be any more obvious, but there's another connection within Magolor Epilogue itself.
Almost every boss in Magolor Epilogue is an elemental version of a boss from Planet Popstar. While the game doesn't really say much about why they're there, this theory answers that. Super Kirby Clash is the only other time we see bosses who are elemental variants of existing ones. Obviously, the Dream Kingdom is likely on a parallel Popstar. By extension, Halcondra is that very planet. So wouldn't it make so much sense for its ruins to house elemental variants of Popstar bosses?
We mentioned that we wanted you to keep in mind the ending of Magolor Epilogue, in which Magolor is sent to the Dream Kingdom with no explanation. But it suddenly makes much more sense now, doesn't it? Both locations house the Master Crown, Gem Apples, Ancients, and Elemental enemies. On top of that, both areas suffered incredibly similar fates and ended up in another dimension. Think of the finale like this. Magolor is shown Halcondra's dark past due to the Crown abusing the Gem Apple's power as it did previously. But once the Red Fruit is freed, it welcomes Magolor to Halcondra's once pleasant past so he can recuperate, accompanying him on the long journey ahead. Well, that's about everything we've got on the Dream Contra theory, right?
What about Highness and the Mage Sisters? Aren't they in Super Kirby Clash? Sure, most of the other characters can just be parallels or whatever, but they're pretty directly tied to the Ancients, no? Not that he confirms the theory or anything, I guess it doesn't nod it either way.
Right. Honestly, we can dedicate a whole video to those guys. Okay, and we probably will. So like and subscribe for that. Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
yeah. I feel bad for not acknowledging them a little, so I'll leave them on this note. Since the Clash games are in the past, it's possible that Highness and the Sisters are actually the same as the ones we know, much like Landia. This could be before they were exiled to Kirby's dimension, while they were still living somewhat peacefully near the other Ancients. Not a super deep answer, but we'll totally go on a deep dive for the story behind these characters another time. So for now, that's all we've got. So thanks for watching.
Bye bye!